Hey guys, what's going on? Maji here with the patch notes rundown for the game update of March the 4th, 2013. There's quite a few this week, so if I happen to go a little bit too quickly for you, you can check the quick find code down in the description below and have a read over them yourself. But first, up under the graphical category, the old massacre animation has been massacred and given a new beastly animation. Cosmetic overrides for the woodcutting animations will now be used when chopping trees in fruit tree patches. An issue with the fire cape on female avatars has been fixed. Farmer's mouths no longer stretch. Elemental body boots no longer clip when worn with monk robe bottoms. The clipping issue with the musketeer's hat has been fixed. Sirius now wears the new style dragon helm. A monkey minder chat head has been updated to show the correct skin color. You can no longer perform the sleuth emote when your magnifying glass is sheathed. It is no longer possible to perform the lightning staff emote when the staff is sheathed. The afflicted in Mauritania now have the correct color skin. Dark Beast magic attacks now display hit splats at the correct point in the animation. The Dragon Square Shield no longer stretches when performing certain actions. The glass blowing pipe crafting animation is now correctly aligned for female characters. The highlight outline on the rune plate body has been adjusted. The trimmed rune full helm will now look correct on male characters. Masked earmuffs now renders correctly on male characters. The adamant kite shield and boots from the mage training arena have been graphically updated. The carnival headdress will now display a color change on the player immediately. Imagio and Shiloh Village will no longer have patches of light-colored skin. The Ardoine Fountain has been given a newer water animation. Urn Collector Ernie's lips will no longer stretch. Players will now hold staffs securely in their hands while playing the High Alchemy animation. Vigroy and Shiloh Village will no longer have odd-colored skin patches. Jimmy's skin texture had become a bit blotchy, so his makeup has been reapplied. An issue with the star on the Entrana altar has been fixed. The bellows in Lumbridge no longer clip with the surrounding scenery. Warrior women are now holding their swords correctly. The clan cape color should now render correctly on both genders. The buckles on the pirate boots have been fixed so that they no longer stretch when smelting at a furnace. Some labeling issues with Osman have been fixed, which were causing him to stretch and bend wildly. Players with Bloom On in the Shadow Dungeon will no longer experience an extremely bright white screen. Mayor Hobbs' neck should no longer stretch. The Fox Mask no longer shows the back of a player's head as bald. Polar Cabots no longer appear brown when caught. Ranus Draken's chat head is no longer distorted when he is laughing. A stretching issue with the fungal visor and its degraded forms have been fixed. Skeleton Fremennik have had their torsos reattached to their legs. Honor Guard attacks no longer show their axes and shields intersecting. The male trader crew member model has been fixed. Reese in the Lumbridge Catacombs no longer stretches wildly. An issue with Elonded's appearance has been fixed. Karn's face no longer stretches at the conclusion of the Three's Company saga. An issue with Kay's head stretching at the conclusion of the Vengeance saga has been fixed. An issue with stretching on some models in the Nadir saga has been fixed. The Arctic Bears in the Three's Company Fremennik saga have been reminded how to walk. An issue with the sock/buskin masks not updating properly when flipped has been corrected. The female circus shirt has been fixed. Tentacle has had her shell bikini recolored to appear more visible. A bug where the bare hand fishing animation would play during the depth charge cosmetic override animation. I guess that has been fixed. That's interesting wording there, but yeah. Anyway, the skin color on the female feline outfit legs have been corrected. The underside of the feline tail now changes color in line with your hair. The dragon crossbow can now be used with crossbow cosmetic overrides. The tree has been removed that was blocking players' view in a druidic ritual cutscene. Two tiles in the Slayer Tower now work correctly with remove roof on. Closing the shipyard interface no longer causes the minimap to display the top floor of the buildings in the port. The Black Marketeer event map icon will no longer appear twice after using the stairs in the bar. The Ceremonious His amulet no longer stretches when players perform emotes. Players can no longer see an untidy edge in the Brimhaven dungeon. The glowing eyes from the Harmony aura should now be aligned correctly. Equipped weapons no longer disappear when the Harmony aura is activated. The animation no longer clips when fletching magic shield bows. All three Monks of Zamorak now have a casting animation and shoot fireballs. That was a pretty huge category. Next up, under the Quest Challenges and Achievements category, Shire has had an overhaul for Evolution of Combat. Ned's chat in Dragon Slayer has been tweaked to inform players when they have discovered this secret passageway. The penguin greeting emotes have been added to the quest journal for Cold War. Corrected the quest requirements of Spears of the Iliad. The fishing contest quest journal now has narrative text grayed out. The level recommendation for killing the Queen Black Dragon has been updated. The task system has been updated to remove references to the old Rune Mysteries quest. Studded chaps are now recognized as a valid item for the Studded Leather Armor Daily Challenge. Under Skills and Minigames, the Sunfleet Dominion Tower battle has been rebalanced. Some more quick chat options have been added to the RuneSpan minigame. Pyramid Plunder Room 7 no longer has a random empty tile that was blocked. The rules for the special Dominion Tower match You'll Never Defeat Me have been adjusted. Castle Wars flags no longer appear on character models once the flag has been scored. Next, for the combat category, the damage boost the Ferocious Ring provides has been reworked. The poisonous indicator on the combat interface now works correctly after logging out and in again. The bananas found in Daemonheim no longer heal only 20 life points. Iron Gauntlets have had their defense requirement fixed to level 10. Corrected the levels required shown in mouseovers for black and mithril boots. The Dungeoneering Skill Advanced Guide now correctly lists the extra requirements for Gravite equipment. Stat inconsistencies between the Ceremon Sword and the Lucky Ceremon Sword have been corrected. An issue with generic weapons causing damage to Turoth and Kurask, who should otherwise be immune to them, has been fixed. Third Age Druidic Robes, Cloak, and Wreath now all apply prayer bonuses when worn. Gas Familiars are now able to hit their opponents. And finally, this week under the huge other category, players can choose to have an uncolored version of the upgraded Balmonk. Players can now craft hard leather boots and gloves. Right-click additions have been added to the following: collecting sand off of Bert, starting a delivery from Aunt Jan Jr., and entering Kelligrim via the Dwarven Ferryman. The teleport option on Farm Spirit Trees has moved higher up the list of options, so it's easier to teleport now from them. You're now able to check the charge of your amulet while it's equipped. We've upped the amount of ectotokens the Ghost Disciple holds to 2,555. The next banker now has a collect option. Added a collect option to the player on port bank. Farming leprechauns can now swap clean Urzel herbs for the noted variant. Bound Dungeoneering armor added as cosmetic overrides using the Dragon Keepsake box have been prevented from being removed when the player leaves a dungeon. The Slayer Shop Rewards interface no longer has the tooltip sticking in place. Gatestone Teleport spell within Dungeoneering will no longer remain lit while no Gatestone is present. The items to make a small map are now listed correctly in the Skill Advanced Guide. You can no longer purchase the Shanty Pass from Raslo. The talk option has been removed from the glider gnome Captain Erdo after completing the Grand Tree. Corrected a voice-acted line of dialogue for the partner during a player on port's cutscene. Creating illuminated godbooks is now using the correct amount of prayer points per step. References to longbows when crafting magic logs into shield bows have been removed. Several grammatical errors in Erwin Fieselbaum's dialogue have been fixed. That is one heck of a name. And no longer necessary square of walk restriction has been removed from outside the Tsar fight pits. Players are now prevented from moving off of the stool while playing the Wizard's Tower organ. A minor typo in Daemonorium book has been corrected. Okay. You can no longer light a stack of multiple logs in Dungeoneering. Several places that used to mention certs or certificates have been updated to banknote. Quickly switching items in the RuneScape reward store will no longer display a different item when attempting to select purchase. The message "Your money pouch is inaccessible in Daemonheim" will now only appear once. The spelling of barbecue is now consistent in clan citadels. Iron no longer appears in the smithing skill advance guide twice. Ice spells now consume blood runes when cast on chimp ices. The reference to old combat levels on the wilderness kills notice board has been removed. You will now try and catch a butterfly with your hands if you have your butterfly net sheathed. The Make X interface for death runes and law runes in Dungeoneering has been adjusted. Players can no longer open the equipment stats tab when transformed as Goblin. An issue with Ignatius Vulcan's haphazard fire lighting has been fixed. A typo with the Purple Christmas Kennel Flea has been fixed. Evil Bob's dialogue now refers to him by name correctly. An area in the Slayer Tower where you could not stand and collect loot has been fixed. Players can no longer walk inside the rock to the southeast of the Slayer Tower. Some typos in player-owned ports upgrade interface have been fixed. The Voyages interface in the player-owned ports will no longer incorrectly show mouse hover tooltips when on the wrong tab. A minor display issue on the port's Voyages interface has been fixed. Fletching potions are now listed as giving a boost in fletching, not agility. The production progress interface now updates correctly when fletching blisterwood polearms. The production progress interface now correctly shows crafting when spinning black wool. A small typo has been fixed in the Stalker Notes Book 4. The Demon Horn necklace at the rewards trader will now correctly show the amount of prayer points it restores. A reference to the Enchanted Excalibur's old special attack has been removed. The Attack Skill Advance Guide now clarifies that the requirements for Daemonheim weapons don't apply to mauls. The Achievement Diary reward no longer states the wrong properties of the Enhanced Excalibur. And that finally wraps up everything for this week. There was a lot to cover this week, so I hope you all went through it. Like I say though, if you want to, you can go to the quick find code down in the video description to check it out. If you like the video, be sure to hit the like button below it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I will see you guys next week with another rundown.